Değerli katılımcılarımız var. Ben Aaron'u sunmak istiyorum. Kendisi proje yönetimini yeniden şekillendirilmesi adına bir kitap yazdı. Harvard Press'te yayınlandı. Proje yönetimini yeniden keşfetmek adı altında. Aaron SHENHAR bugün bizimle ve bize bu keşfini anlatacak. Stanford Üniversitesi'nden 3 ve İsrail Teknoloji Üniversitesi'nden 2 olmak üzere 5 akademik dereceye sahip kendisi. IEEE Mühendislik Yönetimi Topluluğu tarafından yılın mühendisi yöneticisi olarak adlandırılmış ve Proje Yönetim Enstitüsü tarafından da araştırma başarı ödülünün verildiği ilk kişidir. 20 yıldan fazla bir süre boyunca çeşitli kuruluşlarda çalışmış bulan Aaron, birçok akademik programı da oluşturmuş ve yönetmiştir. Ayrıca 3M, Honeywell, NASA, Dow Jones, Amerikan Ordusu ve Tata gibi birçok ünlü kuruma da danışman olarak hizmet vermektedir. Kendisini sahneye davet ediyorum. Nerede?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeniden. Good morning. Did I say it right? That's the only word I know in Turkish. Can you hear me? Well, it's an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to be here this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you some ideas, and I want to thank the welcoming attitude that I have seen here. It's my second visit to Turkey. I was in Istanbul before. I've never been to Ankara, but I think I'll come back. For me, being in Turkey is really a privilege on another level, on a personal level. I see the Turkish people as very warm, very open, and everything here is simple. And we're all used to a very complex world, and here things seem simple. So I like it, because I believe in simplicity, and I will speak about this today. So I also want to thank the organizing committee here who have demonstrated a wonderful chapter here. The chapter of PMI in Turkey is a fantastic chapter. I can see the vibrations, I can see the feelings, and I can see the enthusiasm here. And particularly people like Moliha and Mustafa and another Mustafa and other people who are helping us, the speakers, since we arrived here. So congratulations on this great conference. My topic today is called The Future is Here. And I believe we are facing the future already. Can you hear me when I speak here? Good. Okay. My book is titled Reinventing Project Management. This was published in 2007. It's still selling very well, but I think it's time to refresh it. And is it better? Yes. Good. Thank you. So I'm retitling the book now as Reinventing and Simplifying Project Management. And what I want to share with you is based on 25 years of research and 20 years of experience as a practitioner in a company. I've been an engineer, electrical engineer. I studied, and I reached a level of executive the last 10 years, and then I started another career. And when I moved to academia, I figured out that projects are one of the most important activities in the world for success and for growth. And yet, project management is difficult and complicated and not well treated in the world. So I put this as a focus of my research and consulting. And what I want to share with you today is what I learned. After 25 years of research, I took what I have and I built a company. And the company goal is to share the new knowledge that my teams, myself, and the companies I work with are knowing and sharing. And so this cannot be any advertisement in such a lecture, but if anybody wants to talk to me after that or to think about how we can bring this to Turkey, please contact me. I'm going to be here all day today, and my email is here, and that's the end of my marketing part. Now, to the point. As project managers, we know that our world becomes very important. The rate of project goes up and up and up and up and up all the time. That's the good news. If you're in project management, you're in the right place. But the evolution that we see is the community is growing, have more and more project managers in the world. We see that we have a lot of tools. We have bodies of knowledge like the PMBOK, but others as well. And we have certifications and trainings and all this. Fantastic. But, there's a but. The but says that too many projects don't make it. That's a reality. We cannot avoid this. We're very happy with what we do, but many projects, over 50% of the project, really don't make the intended objectives. So what's going on? If projects don't make it, we've got to do something about it. So, projects become more and more and more difficult today. That's also a reality. Projects are more complex today. If you do a cell phone today, it's a phone, it's a system. But 30 years ago, a phone was just a phone. Complexity goes up, technology changes huge, competition is much stronger. Innovation becomes critical and time is getting shorter. And you are in a society that is evolving. There's so much to do in Turkey. We just heard the minister. What challenges do you have? So this community has a challenge, has a job to make it back better, like the rest of the world. I want to show this as an example. Two very basic and big strategic projects in the aerospace industry have suffered tremendous delays. Airbus 380 was late to market by 2 years. 2 CEOs lost their job. And Boeing 787, the Dreamliner, 3.5 years late. $10 billion, $20 billion overrun, from $20 to $40 billion cost development. Excuse me. These are not startup companies. They are not amateurs. They are the leaders in the world in project management. And if the leaders have this kind of pain, we cannot complain. So it's not unheard of, these kind of failures. So the question is, could they do better? And when I look into the future, I say yes. We can learn to do better, and that's what I want to share with you today. Okay, so I'm going to put a question here. Why projects don't make it? Do you understand? When we finish a project, usually we don't like to talk about failure. We go on. Okay? But it's important to understand when projects don't make it. What do we do? So I want to ask you a question. Do you think it's the project manager's problem? Do you think we don't have good project managers? What do you think? What do you think? No, of course not. Project managers are the best people in the world. You agree, right? I believe in this. I'm not saying it to please you. Because projects are about change, and the best people like to do change. It's challenging, it's difficult, they're leaders. So it's not the project managers. So when the project starts, project manager will look like this. But when the project ends, so it's not the project manager. All right, second question. Do you think it's the tools? Do you think we don't have good tools? We don't have enough tools? What do you think? Now, we have enough tools. So I have a statement. You know what KISS means? Keep it simple, stupid. I have a similar statement, INTD. And INTD stands for, it's not the tools, darling. Not the tools. So what is it? Okay. So we have a body of knowledge, and we have books, and we have all the good things. I'm just coming from Israel, so that's the PIM book in Israel. I couldn't find a picture of the PIM book in Turkish. Maybe I didn't look enough. But there is, yeah? There is, I know. Okay. So we have a book. We have the body of knowledge. Let's look at the book. The book is very good. Has a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. We need to know it. But I want to ask you a question. Suppose you take the book and you do everything in your project by the book. The question is, will your project be successful? Yes or no? Of course. Of course not. If you do exactly by the book, no. No. The problem is the book is not for managing the project, it is for knowing project management. There's a difference. Okay? There's a big difference. So we need to know what's in the book, but we cannot really, and that's really a gap because people still don't understand it. The book is actually too much. We don't need what's in the book. We're starting to talk about simplifying, and that's my topic. Okay? So, maybe the book is too much, and maybe there's some things that are missing in the book. So these two questions I would like to answer now. As good as the book is, it's not really useful for managing your particular small project. You understand? Like you go to a doctor, and you have stomach ache. You don't want the doctor to open his medicine books from medical school and start reading and start using everything he learned. Or you go to a lawyer and you have a problem. You want him to open all the law books and treat your problem? Of course not. He needs to know what to use. That's the same idea in project management. We have a lot of knowledge, but we need to know what to use. So I'm claiming now the book is now too much to manage a specific project. That is my claim number one. Let me illustrate this. This is a picture from one of the pages in the PIM book. Look at this. It has everything in it. Okay? Would you agree that this is too complex for managing most projects? Would you agree? Of course. It has everything, but we don't need everything for every project. And that is the focus here. We need to learn what to select and what to use for each project. We will save a lot of time, a lot of money, and the project will be better. Okay, so that is a problem number one. We need to learn what to use from this good book. Okay. Second, I want to introduce a concept here. And the concept says less is more. Do less, achieve more. That's the simplicity. I believe in this. Everything has to be simple. When the world gets complicated, our work has to become more simple because we communicate with people. And we cannot communicate on complex things. We can only communicate on simplicity. So less is more means we should only select less of the things. And I'll show you how we do it. Okay? And simplifying project management means understanding that you often don't need the whole book. Use only what you need. Learn to tailor, adapting what you need from the book. And now I want to introduce some of the findings of our research, because that's question number one. Okay? What's too much? The question number two is what's missing in the book. Okay. So I want to show you now what we found in research when projects succeed or fail. What is the reason? Okay? Like an iceberg, 20% of the iceberg are on top of the water and 80% on the bottom. And I want to really connect this to the art and science of project management. What is the art? What is the science? The science are the things that are in the book. The written instructions, the rules. The science, the art is that part where people do on their own, with their initiative, out of their creativity. Nobody told them what to do. This is the art part. And project management is an art. By the way, if you're an accountant, so 20% of the project management activity is in the science, and 80% is in the art. The science is the book. And what makes projects successful is the bottom, not the top. Okay? So on the top we have all the techniques, the PMBOK and everything. And on the bottom we have things that are not in the book, like managing uncertainty, like managing change, managing complexity, managing business, leadership, motivation, inspiration, strategy, all these things that people who understand, they know and they do it. But it's not in the book at the moment. Okay? By the way, if you are an accountant, it's not 20/80. Accountants have to work by the book, 100%. We say, if you're innovative in accounting, you go to jail. But in project management, it's different. So it's actually, the wisdom here is to learn what can we learn from the art part, okay? So in our research, we have tried to make science from the art part. And I want to ask you, how much time do we spend today on each part? And if you look at typical project managers, they spend most of their time on the top here, okay? And less time on the bottom. We need to change that. So I want to share with you one research. We did a lot of studies, dozens of studies and books, and I want to talk about one study. In this study, we studied what makes the greatest project, because we studied a lot of failures, you know, success, and one study we tried to see what are the best projects in the world. Is they have anything in common? And we found. We had several hundred projects in this database. We selected 15, the most successful, and we found 7 elements that are unique to them. The first one is they created a unique competitive advantage and value. The second one, they had a long period of preparation up front. The third one, a unique project culture. Highly qualified leader and unconditional support. Project managers need support, and they got to be good leaders. Number 5, they used existing knowledge. They didn't try to invent everything in the project. Technology, every available technology they used. Number 6, the teams quickly adapted changes, make it quickly change. And number 7 is the strong partnership, ownership, and pride. Okay? Look at this list and tell me, can you implement this list? Can you learn from it something? The answer is not really. Because it's a list, and you cannot learn from a list. You need a framework. Okay, it's like you want to become a leader, you read a book about Churchill, a great leader, or Ataturk, you have your own great leader. So you know how Ataturk was a leader. Once you read the book about Ataturk, can you be Ataturk? Of course not. So Ataturk did A, B, C, D, like a list. No. So we went further in this research and we said, do we do these things? And we did cluster analysis. We tried to create groups. So we took these 7 elements and we clustered them into 3 separate groups. And we found out that these 3 separate groups are common. We have a group about leadership, about business and creating value. We have a group about leadership. We have a group about adapting and tailoring to technology, to complexity, etc. And these things we tried to make into a framework that one could work with, into structure, into science. So I want to introduce now this framework and our suggestion how to do it. And this creates a world of 3 elements. The 3 elements, they are currently not in the book. The first element is the strategy in the project level, and I will talk about it a little bit. The second element is the spirit of leadership. And the third element is the element of tailoring, innovation. Tailoring to the innovation, to complexity, or to context. Now, these are not surprising. We talk about this a lot. But we went further, because a lot of people tell you what to do. And the PMBOK is telling you what to do. but it really doesn't tell you how to do it. Okay? So we developed a method how to implement these things in a scientific way in project management. Okay? And I want to illustrate this. The method is called SPL, Strategic Project Leadership. This is the name. And Strategic Project Leadership, how we integrate it with the traditional project management. We don't want to touch what people do now. Everything stays the same. Okay? So you can see here that you have four elements here of, let me get this here. Okay? You have four elements, the four phases, classical phases of project management: initiation, planning, execution, execution, and monitoring, controlling, and termination. 4 steps. We don't touch this, we just add something. And you see that these are actually done with the traditional, the PMBOK, or Prince 2, if you like. There are different ways, different books, so to speak. Okay? So, here's what we do. We're adding a phase that we call strategic planning before the actual execution planning. If you want, you can combine this together with the planning phase. And that includes the 3 elements that I just mentioned. Okay? Okay, here we go. The strategy, the innovation, and the leadership. So our method that we are suggesting to the world now suggests that you need to do now some new things. The second question was, is something missing in the book? This is what's missing in the book. And if I combine the 2 things, I do less of the old one and a little more of the new one. So overall, your project will be better and you'll do less work. That's my claim. And we are proving it with many companies, with work, with research. Okay, so let me start and illustrating this one by one. So we have 3 components that I would like now to introduce you briefly the tools and show what they include. The first one is the strategy. Let me emphasize what I mean this. You know, PMI came recently up with a talent triangle. Great development. Great. And I will connect these things together. I was very happy to see this because we've been talking about this for 20 years. We introduced SPL in 1995. But we tell you what is the strategy, how you do it in the project. How you do it? You create a specific strategy for your own project. And that's something that people usually are not used to, because we are usually talking about strategy at the highest level. The executives will tell the strategy, the program managers, the portfolio managers, and then the team will execute the strategy. But I claim a different thing. It's time to inject strategy inside the team that runs the project. And each project should have its own strategy. What does it mean, a project strategy? Let me show you what it is. And we have the rules and we have the documentations. So we are creating a new document for each project before we write the scope or the requirements. Before. Because today we start a project with requirements and scope statement. And I say inside the project you have to create a strategy document for your project. And it's working. So, I would like to introduce this, the essence of strategy, with discussion, short discussion about the responsibility of a project manager. What are we here for? Why are we in the world? We are here to manage a project, right? But what is really our job? So I want to illustrate this with a small example, a story. From the past. Stories about automobiles, an old story, 20-some years old, but it is really telling a story. Okay, Ford Motor Company in 1986 introduced a car called Taurus. I'm sure you've seen the car here in Turkey. and maybe you can still see it on the road. This was the best-selling car in America. The project manager of this project took a deviation from the old way. He created cross-functional teams, which means he brought people from different functions who work together. He created focus groups with customers, and he learned very, very well what customers need. He spent a lot of time understanding the market. But when the project was completed, he was fired. You know why he was fired? Because he finished the project 3 months late. They fired him. And then it became the best-selling car in America. In the early 90s, they lost this position to Toyota Camry that became the best-selling car up until this day. And Ford Motor decided, okay, it's time to start the second generation, the Taurus 2. Okay? And the project manager of this project learned the lesson. You can imagine. What is the lesson that he learned? Yeah, time, cost, that's it. He managed the project like a dictator. He sacrificed. He didn't want cross-functional teams. He didn't want focus group. He was just driving schedule. He met schedule. But it never made it to become the best-selling car in America again. So what do we learn from this story? By the way, the story has a sad ending, because the first project manager was really hurt. He had a heart attack, and he died. The company felt sorry for him. They bought his wife a present, Lincoln Town Car. She went out, she sold the Lincoln, and she bought a Mercedes. But what do we learn from this lesson? We learned that there are two ways to manage a project, two extreme ways. The first way on the left is the traditional way, seeing a project as a collection of activity that needs to be completed and delivered. I call it the tactical way. The focus is on creating a product, what we call the output. And I would like to suggest another way, as the responsibility of the project manager. And this way says that the responsibility of project manager would be to deliver the business. And a project should be defined as a process to maximize business results and to create value. That's how we define a project, as I believe. And this is a strategic way. And we are focusing on the value, listen to this, the value of the outcome. Not the output, the outcome. What will happen with the product after it is? Is it going to make money? Is it going to improve lives of people? Are we creating a future for our company? The outcome, not the output. And that is strategic, and we focus on value and business. So here's the two ways. Now, I'm not the first one to say this. The story demonstrates some people do it, and they know how to do it. But we need to give people the tools to do it on an ongoing basis. Okay? So the new world that I'm describing looks like this. We are adding an evolution for the future in project management, and it's a simple one because we just add to what we have created so far, focusing on the output, to focus on the outcome, on the business outcome, and that will be the focus of the future. And as I said, we call it the SPL system. You can call it any way you want, but I believe this is the future. So let me now write down what do we do. Okay? And the responsibility of the project manager changes now. From delivering a product on time and scope, the responsibility of the project manager is to inspire, okay? The SPL way, the Strategic Project Leadership, inspires project managers to be the business leaders of their project. We say if you're a project manager, you're like a CEO of your project, because what the CEO is doing, responsible for the business of the company. In your project, you're the CEO. You're responsible. And is giving them the tools to do this. It's very powerful and it's simple. That's what's nice about it. Okay? That's the new paradigm. Now again, many people do it on their own. They create their own artistic way, and we hope to give them the tools to do it in the right way. So, I want to share with you a story how this thing could work. In 2007, Motorola was working on the next generation of a smartphone. I was a professor at that time at Stevens in New Jersey, and my students give presentation in class. So one team came from Motorola and they did a presentation about the Q phone. Very nice. But at that time, Steve Jobs announced that in a few months, Apple is going to come out with the iPhone first. They finished the presentation, the team, very nice, very sophisticated. When they finish, I say, that's good, that's great. But tell me, what are you going to do when iPhone will be out? And the answer surprised me. They said, we didn't think of that. True. iPhone was out and Motorola was dead. Okay? It's a true story. Now, 2 years ago, I had a workshop in New York, and came a woman there. She works for Verizon, you know, the big telephone company. She said, you know, we also suffered because they work together. And we had such a tremendous crisis because of the iPhone, because these two companies were not ready for the iPhone. My claim is, if they had managed this project according to the SPL mindset, they would know what's coming. And they would tell their company, it's time to make a change. It's time to do something. We cannot just continue. They just moved on as it was defined at the beginning. And that is a lesson. Projects should shift according to the market changes. And who is the best to do it? The project manager and the team. Because they, day to day, they work with the project, they understand. And if something changed, they should come up and say, hey, it's time for change. Okay? So let me share with you what I mean is now the tool to deal with the business. What is strategy? And I like this. If I have more time, I would do here a survey. What do you think is strategy? People come up with a lot of different things to define strategy. And I define strategy only in one way. Where does strategy come from? Military. Right? War. What is strategy in war? How to win the war. Are we at war? Of course we are. Business is also war. We have enemies, competitors. What do we want? What do we want? To win. In order to win, we need a strategy. It's very simple. So strategy concept is really coming from war, coming from business, coming from sports, and it's all focused on winning. How to win. So in war, it's how to attack, or how to go around. And in project management, how to win. How to win? All right, I'm building this product, they're building this product. Is it enough that my product meets requirements? Is that enough? No, because they can also meet. What do I need? To be better. Right? And to be better means creating a product that is better. That means strategy. The strategy means how to create a better product. So, in business, strategy means creating competitive advantage and maximizing value. That's very simple. And these are the things that project managers now need to start thinking about. How to create a better product, not the product that needs specifications, but a better product than your competitor. It's a new language. It's a new discussion. And it's very exciting, by the way. Project teams become very energetic when they deal with this, because you give them power. You use a brain. They're not stupid. They're very intelligent people. So let's have them work to achieve competitive advantage. And the project strategy is the same thing. A strategy in the project means how to achieve the highest competitive advantage and the best value with the project. Okay? You focus your projects on, oops, too fast. You focus your projects on winning. Okay? So we have a structure how to build project strategy. I will not be able to go through all of it, but we have its element. We have documentations, how to do it. It has 5 steps The initiation, why, what, how, and when. We define success. How good are we? How much better are we than the competitor? And what is the team doing to achieve this, which is the strategic focus? And we all are focused on one question. Why will the customer buy our product? Okay? That is the focus. That is a project strategy. I cannot go deeper into this, but it is well structured and well documented and exists. Okay. The next one is the leadership part. We have a lot of talk about leadership, and also PMI says leadership, we got to develop leadership. So I want to suggest our way of looking at leadership. Okay, you got to learn to be the leader of your project, and there are a lot of people writing. I just got a book today. Thank you for your book on leadership, and the same question, learn to be the leader of your project, which is really very nice. Okay, so what does it mean? I mean, you cannot become a leader overnight. You cannot. Some people have natural, some people don't have it. But they can do something that can make you become a better leader. All right, where's the computer? Okay, why you need to lead is very simple. This is it. Great projects have great leaders. Okay? You want to be a great project, you got to be a great leader. Well, you can't. Okay, but you can do a few things. I claim with good leadership, people can do twice as much as they do today. And that has been shown by research. People have enormous potential to do more. Okay? Your job is to get the most with your people, and you got to push what drives people. And you know, one of the great things that drive people is the culture, the spirit, what they feel. And this is something that you can really impact, what they feel. Okay? So, okay. All right. Okay. What's the difference between a manager and a leader? I say leaders inspire people. You cannot manage people, you cannot lead people from here. You can manage them with money and with spreadsheets, but when you lead, you got to lead them from here, which means you got to impact their emotions. Okay? And you need to inspire them. So then one of the fundamental things that you would like to do is make your people proud. Leaders make people proud throughout history. Okay? Atatürk made the Turkish nation proud. Alexander Mukdon made them proud. Napoleon made the French proud. What happened later is a different story. But leaders make people proud. And you can make your team proud of being part of this. This you can do. You don't need to be Churchill or Atatürk. Oh, here's the tool. I define it the project spirit. Learn to inspire. Spirit is the attitude, excitement, energy, and energy in the team. The proud, the motivation, the passion, and the fun. Now I want to define the spirit of your project. Okay? This is generally spirit. You know, if you're a company, you're proud. You're proud to work with Intel. I work with Intel. I work with people who are proud to be in the company. Okay? Very common. But you want to do it in your team. The people will be proud to be in your team. And you can do this. That's the point. So I want to show you a simple tool to do this. And the tool is called the project spirit. The team's attitude, emotions, and motivation focused on an exciting vision of the project. You create a vision. And the vision will excite the team. Perhaps the best vision of all was putting a man on the moon and bringing him back before the end of the decade. When President Kennedy said this in the early 60s, everybody was excited. That was the vision. Okay? You can put a man on your moon with your project. What's your moon? Make it exciting. People will feel they're working on something important. Okay? Imagine two people are cutting stones. You come to one of them and you ask him, what are you doing? He says, I'm cutting stone. You come to the other one and you tell him, what are you doing? He says, I'm building a cathedral. Understand? He's proud. It's a big difference. You got to articulate the cathedral for them. Okay? So, the vision is an exciting statement about the future. You can use a motto. I'll show you a few visions here. BMW is building the ultimate driving machine, you know, because it's fun to drive a BMW, right? So they call it a muscular car that wants to be driven. Muscular car that wants to be driven, that's a technical spec? No, but it's exciting. The engineers will translate this into design. Okay, Beam of Life, it's all real project, come from a project that created a torch for miners rescue teams on the helmet, Beam of Life. Free to Kiss comes from a project in the pharmaceutical industry developing a vaccine for meningitis, bad disease. Okay, there's no cure, but vaccines are coming into the market. So this comes from our teams in our work, and they created the Free to Kiss, which means the vaccine goes to universities to vaccinate the young students. And meningitis can be transmitted like AIDS with body fluids. So the project manager came up with this vision, Free to Kiss. So all of a sudden, this project is a different story. It brings life to the project. You can do it. In every project, there's something new, okay? And the best vision of maybe the Apollo 13 story, all right? Gotta learn the secret here. Okay, you remember the Apollo 13? Failure not an option. You've seen the movie. Okay, that's a vision. We're not going to fail. And it drove the whole project. Okay, great. So, the spirit has 4 elements in it. The vision, okay, the set of values related to the project outcome, the symbols, a logo, a t-shirt, a flag for the project, all these things and the project name is a symbol. Exciting. And then the social activities. And all these things are under your control. You can do them. So you go through, it's a document, it's a specifications to create spirit. Okay? It is working. All right. I gotta go closer here. Okay, here's an example. That comes from a real project that we are working with the pharma industry, and they're building a drug to heart failure. So the team created this, and you see how proud they are. During the training, they did it. Okay, they did the cake, they did the t-shirts, and they created a new life in this project. And you know what? If you don't believe me, go and ask the chicken. Okay? And in America, there's a company that is selling eggs from chicken that are free. And they call it Happy Eggs. Okay? Happy eggs, happy chicken create better eggs. That's it. So if they know it, we can also do it. Right? It's no big deal. You see how the job of the project manager is changing gradually. You're dealing with new things. And the last element is how to make it simple. And that's the third part. And this is the tailoring, innovation. And here we become more rational. Ready? Here we want to learn how to adapt the project to its unique requirements, because the big PMBOK is too much for most projects. 95% of the project will never go through the whole elements of the PMBOK. So what do you need? So we have a scientific way based on research to really, and that's the subject of our book in Harvard. We look at the projects as part of innovation. Innovation is creating an idea and bringing it to market. Every project is actually an innovation, but the point is that one size does not fit all. That is the key. You got to learn what you need for your project that is different than the previous project. I'll show you a few examples. Okay, so look at this. This is the same suit. They all use the same suit, but one size does not fit all. Same thing with projects. How do we find the right suit for every project? Tailor project manager to your project. Okay, and for this we use the diamond model. The diamond of innovation, we call it. It's more than innovation. It has 4 dimensions. Every project is specified according to 4 dimensions: novelty, technology, complexity, pace. What is novelty? Novelty means how new is the project to the customers, or the product to the customer. What people know what to expect. Well, if I build today another car, everybody's driving, no big deal. I sit in the car, I know what to do. But some project creates something new that customers never knew. You know, the Post-it notes, the first Post-it notes, 3M. I worked with 3M for many years. The management didn't want the product because market research said nobody's going to buy it. So they started to give it away. Today it's a $2 billion business. Just the little notes. That was new to the world. On the novelty, it's the highest level. Okay? And if you have a project that is new to the world, don't do market research because customers will not tell you, we want that. You understand? So, novelty has 4 levels on it. I'll show you the levels. Derivative, platform, new to the market, and new to the world. Okay, platform is simple. It's just the next generation, like a car. Derivative is a small change. New to the market, I take a product from one market, adapt it. The first PCs were new to the market because computers existed from the 50s. But in the 70s, when we started to create computers for personal use, they were new to the market. Today, we took GPS from defense, we brought it to consumers. That was new to the market. And each one of them has a different impact on project management and on the tools you need for project management. Technology is based on how much new technology you're using. We have 4 levels. On each dimension we have 4. Low-tech, medium-tech, high-tech, super high-tech. Low-tech is construction. We use the same technology for years. Medium-tech is existing technology, some new design like automobiles. High-tech, we're using new technology but existing. And super high-tech is a technology that doesn't exist. You see, it doesn't exist. Going to the moon was super high-tech because we didn't have the technology to go to the moon. We had to develop the technology during the project. Very rare, very risky, but they exist. Once again, you don't manage them the same way. The difference between high-tech and medium-tech or low-tech is in high-tech you need more cycles to figure out your final technology. Engineers understand this, but now they have a rule how many cycles they need. And based on research, we know how to give them the rules of exactly how to manage each one of them. And that was the problem in Boeing. Because Boeing had a great product before 787, 777, but made from aluminum. When they started the 787, the Dreamliner, it was based on a new technology, composite materials. They never did it on a large scale. And they got stuck because they did only one design cycle. They had to open again and again and again the design. The complexity is based on levels of complexity of the product and the organization. Component, this is a component. A system is a car is a system. Assembly. I'm going back a moment. Component is the projector's light bulb. Assembly is doing one function, like this laser pointer when it works, and the assembly is a subsystem. The projector itself is an assembly, doing one function. System, a computer is a system, a car is a system, an aircraft is a system. And an array is a complex collection of systems working together, like the public transportation system in a large city, or the traffic air control in the whole country. Large. The internet is a system, is an array. So everyone has a different way to manage the project. Complexity goes up, you need to manage it in a different way. And finally, the pace is how much time you have. Regular is project with no pressures. Fast critical, fast competitive is a project that involves, I got to be in the market ahead of my competitors. But if I'm late by a week, I can still make money. Time critical is a project that has a definite deadline. If you miss the deadline, project fails. Think of Y2K. But we have every year time critical. When the year start beginning in the university, you have to be ready, or you got to be ready for the sales of the Christmas. You know, Black Friday? You got them in stores, otherwise you miss 40% of your sales. So that's time critical. And Blitz is also a project, but that's a crisis. Like the Apollo 13, bringing the people back alive, that was Blitz. Because it's a crisis. You don't have time to plan. You don't create a matrix organization for Blitz. You just be there, you manage it as an emergency, like a fire, and you solve problems on the spot. And you shorten the lines of communication. Okay, so together all this create a diamond shape for each project. And now the diamond shape is giving you the rules how to manage it. The impact of novelty on project management, less market data, less market testing. You need more market testing, and late requirements freeze. Technology, more design cycles, later design freeze. Complexity, more formality, more coordination, more documentation. And time is time management. More autonomy, less planning, and much, much more ad hoc, solve problem on the spot. And all these is written down and ready. Okay, so I want to use a few examples to show you how the diamond is working. Denver airport was late. What is an airport? It's a construction. Huge 2.5 billion project was late by a year and a half. Big overrun. Why? Because in the Denver airport there was one component that was not construction. The automatic baggage system. In a large $2.5 billion project, $50 million baggage system delayed the whole aircraft. Why? Because it was based on a new technology that nobody did before. The airport was ready to start. The baggage system was not ready. I want to show you the diamond, 2 diamonds here. Okay, the airport is the blue. It was low-tech. Okay, platform, fast, competitive, and array. But the baggage system was high-tech. It was new to the market. Nobody did it before. So everybody was waiting. They need to manage this project differently than the rest of the airport. And the diamond is telling the story. Okay? Here's the Boeing story. 777, you see, is medium tech. 787 was high tech. And it was also array because they spread the design among their subcontractors. So it became much more complex. And they managed it like they were ready to manage. So there was a lot of pain and changes in the project to make it, with a lot of overruns. So the diamond should have told you early on how to manage the project. And finally, I want to use our daily example of an iPhone. iPhone 1 was new to the market, was high-tech, was a system, and fast competitive. All right? iPhone 6, the red is iPhone 6. It's a platform. Now it's a next generation. Okay? And the iPhone 6S is a derivative. Now you can put iPhone 7 here and go on and on and on. But each one is telling you a different story, how to manage the project. It's very useful, very simple, very straightforward. Okay. So let me start summarizing here. We're suggesting a new mindset, a new way of thinking in project management. The previous way should stay. It is delivery, scoping, and everything, product delivery. But we are starting to create a mindset about creating business value. The previous skill set, scoping, scheduling, budgeting, stay. The previous tools stay. But here we are advocating new skill sets. The strategic skill set, strategizing, inspiring as a skill set, and adapting or tailoring. And the tools I described, the project strategy, the spirit of leadership, and the diamond of innovation. Okay? Now, I believe this is going to be in the next book. I still didn't write my book, but this is the future, in my opinion. It exists. Of course, we are doing it already. I will connect it now to the talent, which I said was a great progress in the project management field. But instead of the triangle, we are offering the diamond. And the diamond has one more component, which we call the diamond of innovation, the adaptation part. Okay? And the traditional plans exist, the business strategy, the leadership spirit. And also, as I said, this exists with tools. Okay? So to summarize, I'm giving you again my contact information if anybody wants to contact me. I want to thank you again for inviting me. This was a great pleasure for me to be here. I love the people of Ankara and Turkish, and this is a fantastic event. Good luck with the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Oldukça hoş bir konuşmaydı. Yarına teşekkür ediyoruz. Onu yerine uğurluyoruz.